So, multiplying fractions. What is the one thing when you're adding and subtracting and you have unlike denominators that we really don't like having to do? Finding what? Common denominator, okay? So the great thing about multiplying fractions is you don't have to have a common denominator. We are simply going to multiply straight across. Okay? So with multiplication, we just multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. It is that easy, honestly. So looking at number 1, what is 8 times 1?
8.
And 9 times 3?
27.
Okay, can we simplify 8 over 27?
No.
That is our answer.
Oh, is that easy?
It is that easy. Now, I am going to show you a couple of things that will help with the simplifying process, because I think that's probably the second thing you like least. It is something, and we're going to do it with number 2, called cross-canceling. Okay? If we want to cross-cancel, we are looking at the numbers diagonal from each other. Okay? It doesn't mean we're multiplying diagonally. It means we are comparing the numbers that are set up diagonally from each other. So, if we look at 6 and 14, is there a number that can go into both 6 and 14?
Yes.
What is it?
2.
2. So we're going to ask ourselves, how many times will 2 go into 6?
3.
And how many times will 2 go into 14?
7.
Okay. So that's cross-canceling. We can look at, again, right here, is there a number that can go into 5 and 25?
5.
So 5 will go into 5 one time. 5 goes into 25 5 times. At this point, I can multiply straight across. 1 times 7 is?
7.
And 3 times 5?
15.
Okay. And at that point, it's already simplified. So cross-canceling, you're doing your simplifying before you even multiply. And here's the cool thing. If I had not cross-canceled and multiplied straight across, 5 times 14 would give me 70. 6 times 25 would give me 150. Well, 70 over 150 is the same thing as 7 over 15. Okay?
That's cool.
So it basically takes care of your simplifying before you get to the answer. All right, let's try some more. The 2 types of problems we're doing today are fraction times fraction and fraction times a whole number. Okay? We cannot multiply by a whole number. Like you cannot multiply a fraction by a whole number. So how are we going to change this whole number to a fraction? What am I going to do, Jonah?
8.
Hang on. Say it.
What I would do personally is just take away 1 and then just do 10 8/8.
But I can't multiply by a whole number, even a mixed number. I can't have a whole number.
8
Nathan.
8/8.
Okay? But I don't have to have common denominators. Zoe. What would be equal to 11 as a fraction? No, that would be equal to 1. Can't do that because I can't have a whole number.
8/8.
I don't need common denominators.
Wait, 32. No.
I could do that, but why do I want bigger numbers? What can I put under 11 that keeps its value? Say it again. 1. Guys, any whole number we're going to put over 1. Okay? So whole number goes over 1. That makes that 11 over 1 a fraction. And it still has the value of 11. Alright, if I look at this, is there anything I can cross-cancel between 1 and 5?
No.
What about 11 and 8?
No.
Nope, I can't. There's not a number that will go into both, so I'm going to multiply straight across. 11 times 5 gives me,
55.
and 1 times 8?
8.
Alright, so I have an improper fraction now.
To divide.
I can divide, absolutely, to change it to a mixed number. You got it. So how many times will 8 go into 55? 6 times. And that would be 48 and would give us, how many left over? 7 over 8. So that would be your final answer. So again, and I started as a chart on the back, multiplying fractions. If we have fraction times fraction, you're going to multiply straight across. If we have fraction times a whole number, You're going to put your whole number over 1 and then multiply straight across. All right, look at the next one. What do we have to do to the 16? Put a 1 under it, okay? So even if I didn't cross cancel, 16 times 1 is 16. 1 times 16 is 16, and that would equal 1 whole. And if I wanted to cross cancel, I could have canceled out my 16s, which would be 1 over 1, which is still 1 whole. Now, problems like number 5 are where the cross canceling really comes in handy, because do you really want to multiply 49 times 36? No. So let's look at 49 and 77. Is there a number that can go into both? 7. How many times will 7 go into 49?
7.
And how many times will 7 go into 77? 11. All right. Is there a number that can go into 54 and 36? 9. Okay. 9 will go into 36 4 times, and 9 will go into 54 6 times. So now we can multiply straight across. 7 times 4? 6 times 11?
66.
Now, these are still even.
I can simplify.
I can still simplify, and here is why. I agree. 9 is the first number that would have jumped to my mind looking at these two. Technically, our greatest common factor, though, was 18. Now, I don't just randomly think of 18 times anything, but 18 times 2 would have given me 36, and 18 times 3 would have given me 54. But here's what I want to tell you. Even if you don't use your greatest common factor to do some cross-canceling, once we get to this point, your number's still easier to simplify. So what can go into both 28 and 66? 2. So that would become 14 over 33. So again, even if you don't get down, like we could have still looked at these and said, oh, 4 and 6, 2 can still go into those, and I could cross-cancel again. Or now that I've gotten friendlier numbers, just simplify when I get my final answer. All right, what do I do with the 4? Put it over 1. Okay, do I have anything that can cross-cancel?
Yes.
8 and 4. Okay, let's try that. What number can go into both?
2. 4.
4. 4 will go into 4
1 time.
1 time. 4 goes into 8
2 times.
2 times. 7 times 1 is 7. 2 times 1 is
2.
2. What would that be as a mixed number?
3, 1, 2.
3 and 1 half.
Yes.
So much easier than adding and subtracting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this time we homework, if you don't finish
Yeah.
it should be up.
Okay. All right, let's look at the word problem together. There are 456 students in 6th grade. If 2/3 of the 6th grade have above a C in math, how many students is that? So here's our key word right here. Of. When we're talking about fractions, the word of means to multiply. If I want 1/2 of something, I'm going to multiply it by 1/2. So we could look at this as 2/3 of 456 would be the same thing as 2/3 times 456 over 1. Do I have anything there I might could cross cancel? What do you think? Which one? 3 and 456? I agree, because remember, if we add these together, 4 times 5, or 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 6 would be 15. 15 can be divided by 3, so can 456. So 3 will go into 3 1 time. How many times will 3 go into 45? Well, first of all, how many times will 3 go into 4?
1.
1. With 1 left over, bring our 5 down. 3 goes into 15 5 times, and 3 goes into 6 2 times. There we go. So at this point, we've cross-canceled. Now we can multiply. What is 152 times 2? 304. Very good. Okay? 304 over 1 we know is equal to what? 304. And here's, again, the thing, if you don't even cross multiply or cross cancel, if we went straight across, that would have given us, let's see, 912 over 3. And then changing that to a mixed number, that would go 3 times 0. You would still get the same answer even if you don't do the cross canceling. You just may have to simplify and have a little bit larger numbers.
Is it okay that I can sometimes do additional multiplication faster than cross-multiplication?
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine. That is totally fine. Just make sure you're good with simplifying, because that'll be the only thing is you will definitely have to simplify more if you don't cross cancel, okay? Any questions about multiplication? Today we're just doing fraction and whole number. Tomorrow we're going to add mixed numbers. And then you'll have a short quiz on Friday on just multiplying. Next week we will start division.
Okay.